Hello everyone, today we are talking about a string of robberies occurring in LA regarding package theft from a railroad company. Yes, the trains are being robbed. The Wild West is here, and unlike the anti-gunners proposed, it's not occurring in a constitutional carry state, it's happening in good old-fashioned California. Now, let's talk about what's going on. We got a lot of things to discuss, including Gavin Newsom apologizing to the gangs. Kind of a complicated one there. We'll get to that in a second. Before we get going, though, I do want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel. If you want to use any of the links in the description, that helps me out, whether it's pre-workout, whatever it is, all that stuff down there. Actually, no, never mind. Go watch my video about CRS firearms. There is a link to his GoFundMe down below in the description there. He was recently arrested. If you want to know more about that situation, go watch that video, take a look at his channel or John Crump's channel, and think about supporting his GoFundMe. Let's get right into it.
The evidence is all over the tracks. Thousands of pilfered packages scattered across Los Angeles rail lines for months. Right alongside the stolen TVs and tablets, more than 80 guns. LA police officials revealing to NBC News this week that one crew's August haul included a cache of semi-automatic shotguns as well as pistols.
I gotta love how they have to describe, hey, here's what kind of guns were taken. They had to make it a little spooky. Now, they're probably pretty bummed out that they couldn't mention anything like them scary assault rifles, but they went ahead and added semi-automatic to the shotgun to clarify that they are in fact semi-automatic, which is scary. It's always about adding little add-ons that make it sound a little bit more intimidating, but obviously having 80 more guns on the streets, not a good thing. You don't need to really hype it up more than that, right?
LA's police chief addressing the thefts in a meeting.
That gave us a significant concern as a source of, again, of further violence in the city.
I'm not too impressed by comments coming from top brass of police departments where people are being harassed when they're not really causing any harm to people. People are being arrested for victimless crimes. They're shutting down businesses. I'm not really too concerned with their opinions when they're not focusing on the real crimes that are happening when real victims are involved. It's just crazy to me that they're trying to play the victim, and we'll see them play the victim later.
Officials say only 2 of the firearms have been recovered so far.
They're going to end up on the street and they're going to be used in crimes as an absolute certainty.
Scott Sweeto spent years as a special agent in charge with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
I just had to pause it here. Look, I'm a big proponent of self-love. This dude's face looks like he loves the smell of his own farts. But besides that, I'm sorry, he's an ATF agent or a former ATF agent. I had to say mean things about him. It's just legally required for me to do so. 2 of the guns of 80 were recovered. Of the 80 that they know were stolen, how many were stolen that they don't even know were stolen? Think about how many packages just get lost in transit somewhere that they might not even have been reported stolen. With the backlog and the way that shipping delays are happening, I'm not of the opinion that it's only 80. I'm sure it's a much higher number than 80. But hey, they found 2 of them.
He says it's pretty common for tens of thousands of guns to be shipped across the country like everything else.
Security around guns on a train really just relies on the hope that people aren't going to realize what's in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're really relying on camouflage. So once someone's able to break into the train, they can actually look at the labels on these boxes and they can figure out that it's a firearm and literally steal it as easily as they could steal a box of iPads.
Correct me if I'm wrong, when I worked in a gun store, all of the handguns that we ordered had to come second day air. I'm not sure if that's an actual law or if it's just how the distributors that we tended to order from shipped stuff, but it's obvious that there is no security in situations like these, and I think for me, what I'm thinking about when I see this is this makes me less likely to want to order a gun online and would make me rather just get something that is physically in a store, because then you don't have situations like this. Now, remember a video we did a while back about the Bloomington facility FedEx where some guns were being reported stolen from or lost in? Things like that can happen, but it doesn't happen if the gun's already right in front of you. So just something to think about.
This is not one-off. This is organized theft. These are organized gangs of people that are coming out, and forgive me for saying gangs. I know that's not a pejorative.
Okay, so this clip that we just saw is from a different video, but I wanted to show you Gavin Newsom's response. And I had to pause it here when I was initially watching this and pull up the dictionary on my phone and actually look up pejorative, because I wasn't sure that he was saying what I thought he was saying. Because if we look at the actual dictionary definition of pejorative, it is expressing contempt or disapproval. So Gavin Newsom is apologizing for using the word gang to describe gangs of people, and he's saying that he didn't mean that and didn't mean to offend them. The absolute state of affairs in the Democratic Party.
They're organized groups of folks that move from site to site. When there's more attention, a bright light on one site, they move to the next site. A lot of these folks are arrested as if they're individuals that are not connected to the whole. And we need to change that.
Does it sound like what he just described and defined was a gang? Groups of people who are organized and do crime. An organized form of crime in a group of people. I'm pretty sure that's a gang. But hey, he didn't mean it as a pejorative, though.
Multiple law enforcement sources tell NBC News the crime sprees can last for hours before police realize what's happening, much easier than targeting gun shops.
Gun store burglaries get reported very, very quickly. There are more often than not alarms. Could mean the difference between a drive-by shooting or a carjacking or an armed robbery being averted.
I think this just is a perfect example of showing that the weakest targets and the least protected targets will always be the source of, or where crime is focused. You can apply this sort of logic to carry restrictions and laws around CCW permits and the lack of issuance. Yeah, it's great that LA is now issuing, and there's maybe about 1,000 people that might have permits now with Alex Villanueva. But it's a county of 10 million people. Let's assume a third of that are of the age and of the ability to carry, so they don't have any laws or legal restrictions. 1,000 people, that's not very many people that actually have been issued a CCW. It's obvious that the easiest way now for people to get a hold of these things, actually good high quality firearms, and the way that they've gotten them for so long, is by breaking the law. There are so many laws in place in California, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to respond to this and say, hey, we need to make guns even more illegal. I see them potentially going down a road where they say guns must be transported in armed security containers or something like that, making it so impossible for anything to actually make it to California that they price people out of the ability to afford firearms because the ability to source them is so expensive now. That's just some next level 4D chess that I'm thinking in my head of what their next moves are. But I think that the response to this kind of thing is going to be more laws that don't affect criminals and do affect good, hardworking people.
Nationwide, the ATF says firearm thefts have been trending down over the past year, but LAPD data shows shootings are up and homicides increased 54% from 2019 to last year, even as LAPD says it recovered many more guns last year compared to 2020.
So crime stats are all over the place. Gun thefts are down, but murders are up 54%. In a state with as many gun laws as we have, in an area with as much restrictions as they have, how is it that this gun control solution is going to be the proposed solution for them? It's like there is no end to this. There will be no end to their attempts to grab the guns. So what is their actual goal? What do you think their actual goal is? Do you think it's about safety?
And while the railroad company wouldn't comment on an active investigation, it says dozens of special agents have been moved to the area. Our local station KNBC spotting added fences and cameras too. But even yesterday, an open rail car rolling through LA.
This is just beautiful. It just shows how incapable and inept the police are. And this isn't a knock on all police officers. I'm sure there's many of you that do a great job. Congratulations. But you have to look at this, and the police are meant to respond to crimes after they happen. Protection and safety can only be ensured at the individual level. Police officers can stop crimes before they occur or while they're occurring, but many times they are hamstringed, and the only way that they can respond is when a crime has already happened or a victim has already been made. So it's up to you to decide how you want to protect yourself.
Despite the ongoing efforts by Union Pacific Railroad to install some additional security elements, we still have people that are still drawn to this location with the simply by greed.
I love how he then tries to shift it onto the railroad company when isn't the police's job supposed to be to stop things like this? They're not doing nearly enough if they can just happen to be out there one day filming and find some open train cars. I don't know. It seems like they need to acknowledge it and accept the responsibility for the lack of protection in addition to that. I would love to see the police have more ability to stop this kind of thing, but in California, it seems like the only thing that people want to do is reduce the funding that they have and reduce the ability for them to stop this kind of thing, but then also take away your ability to carry a gun and protect yourself.
All right, Jesse Kirsch joins us now live from one of those tracks. Jesse, I got to ask you, what steps are the railroads taking to reduce the number of thefts?
Tom, we've seen extra cameras added, extra fencing. The rail line also says they've added dozens of those special agents. But let me give you the reality check right where we are here in Los Angeles. I don't see any visible signs around here of obvious added cameras. I don't see extra security or police personnel. And look at where that fence line is. Anyone could easily walk right down from the street level and be on the tracks and climb onto a train. And then look at this visibility line. You can see the tracks here are below the street level, which means that the general public can't easily see what's going on. And if that's happening, some sources telling our team that it could be hours before police are able to realize what is going on down here.
Yeah, those trains are just sitting ducks there. You mentioned in the piece, I think I heard this correctly, that authorities say only 2 of those guns were recovered, but there's 80 that are missing. Any prospect they're going to find the rest of those?
That former ATF official we spoke with tells us that sometimes guns aren't recovered or even realized to be missing until they are used to commit a crime. He adds that it could take years to track down a weapon. And of course, Tom, there's always the possibility those guns are never found.
Now, in the discussion of ghost guns, every time people try to ban these sorts of things, they always mention, oh, because the gun has a serial number, it's traceable. May I present to you Exhibit A? I don't know what more we need to say. This was a pretty just crazy situation that I wanted to talk about. It seems like it is the wild, wild west out here. You know, if you want a free gun, just go steal it. They ain't gonna catch you. They ain't gonna find you. They're not gonna find the gun. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Obviously, I'm not encouraging you to break the law. You guys got to make your own decisions in life. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. Hey, but for real though, if you're looking for an alternative like G Fuel or any sort of pre-workout, that kind of thing, the link down in the description, a lot of great products. Use code Reno, get 10% off. Thank you.